What's up, y'all? AJ Simmons here with another great interview. Today, I have a longtime CBN member, Mrs. Bridgette Bailey. How are you doing today, Miss Bridgette?
Hi, AJ. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. And so, Miss Bridgette here, she actually, like I said, she's been a longtime CBN member, but she's actually got into the insurance industry. And so, I brought her on to help us, learn more about getting health insurance as an entrepreneur, because a lot of entrepreneurs seem to think that we can get insurance, right? So, I figured let's get an expert on here and let's talk about it. But before we go into it, Miss Bridgette, could you tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from?
Sure. So my name is Bridgette Bailey, and as you stated, I got in the CBN network some years ago. Just a budding entrepreneur getting into the cleaning business. I am a Georgia girl, uh, born and bred. I was born in the southern part of the state, though. Graduated from Warner Robins High School. And after high school, of course, I moved to the city, and I've been in the Atlanta area and the Atlanta suburbs my entire adult life. So I am a true peach. So shout out to all my peaches.
That's all right. So I want to ask you this before we get into the insurance thing, just real quick. What made you want to get started with the cleaning industry?
Sure. So I had a friend, and she's actually more of a mentor to me. A few years back, she called me one day and she was telling me about this opportunity that she had. And, she's one of those straight laced, serious people. So when she calls, my ears perk up because I know she's strictly business. So she was telling me about this opportunity, and it actually was a cleaning franchise. And so, she went into all the ins and outs of, what she would be doing. And she said, I think it's something you should consider. And, initially I was like, I don't know. I never thought about, that. But she knew that I always was talking about, owning my own business. She knew that I had the business mindset, if you will. So I did a little bit of research. You always want to get a different perspective. I had the information that she gave me, but I started researching and looking online. And that's actually how I came across your videos. I was doing a search and one of your videos popped up. And so I started watching and I'm like, okay, well, this guy has a lot of good information, subscribe, so I subscribed and I watched all your videos and took notes, joined the CBN group. And based on the information from you and having my mentor on speed dial, that's how I just kind of launched, got everything going myself. And the rest is history.
That's what's up. So now, how did you shift from the cleaning industry into the industry?
Sure. Well, the interest in insurance actually goes back a few years. So some years ago, I had actually gotten my adjuster's license to be an insurance adjuster. But I never did get to use the license. I was trying to get into it independently. And so while I was sort of, navigating, getting started, someone called me for a job. And so I couldn't turn it down. So I took the job and I kind of pushed the insurance stuff on the back burner. And then, and I know this is a longer version, but fast forward a couple of years ago, I actually had to purchase my own private insurance because the job, it had gotten so expensive. So I opted out and decided to search, on my own to see if I could find a better deal. And so I did. And, the process was so quick, so smooth. I was thinking, hey, I'm going to look into this, later. And so fast forward to this year, with everything that happened this year, coronavirus and just a lot of uncertainty. So I thought this was a good time to go ahead and pivot and get into something else. And as this year kind of reminded me, it's always good to have additional skills and other ways to generate income. So went back, got the knowledge, got the license, and got my contracts, and here I am.
All right. So now I got to get into what most people probably came here for, which is how exactly do entrepreneurs get insurance? A lot of people think that once they don't have that W-2 employment job, that they can't get health insurance. So how do we as entrepreneurs get health insurance?
Of course, it's actually easier than you think. You shop for a product and you purchase it. It's pretty much that simple. So I am in the position of a broker. So I have contracts with different carriers. And so I can assist you with shopping around for the best deal versus if you just work under one agency, you can only offer that agency's product. So I think this is the best for me because I can actually provide more knowledge about different products and I can shop around for the best deal for a client.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All
So
right.
it's just that simple. I can walk you through, which products are available in your state, and you decide what's best for you or your family, and then you purchase it and you make your premium payments. It's that simple.
Wow. Okay. So there's no special process to go through anything. They can really just simply, it's as simple as contacting someone like yourself and just get signed up.
Exactly. Different carriers and different plans will have a different process. Some do underwriting, meaning they'll dig a little bit into your medical history. Some plans do not do that. It's just a simple yes or no. So it just depends on what you're looking for and the carrier.
Gotcha. All right. Now, I heard you mention, I think, private insurance, I believe you said. And so I'm wondering, is that different than the marketplace insurance? Like, is there a difference there?
Good question. Good question. So I'm glad you brought up the marketplace. So we've all heard of the marketplace. You may be familiar with it being called ACA or Affordable Care Act or Obamacare. I still refer to it as Obamacare a lot of times, but basically, there is a difference. The marketplace Obamacare plans, they are mandated by the federal law. So basically, when they enacted the Affordable Care Act, it basically stated that insurance carriers have to cover certain services and they can no longer deny a person for pre-existing conditions. So that's the gist of the differences. If you go outside of the marketplace, insurers can still deny you for pre-existing conditions. So an easy way to sum it up is, you'll have like a major carrier like an Anthem Blue Cross. They'll have different product types. So they may have, Blue Cross Silver, or Blue Cross Platinum plan or whatever. So under this law, all they did was add Blue Cross Marketplace. So they just added this type of plan to all their other products. So when you go to the marketplace, you can shop around, but anything that is titled or called a marketplace plan has to cover those essential services that are outlined in the Affordable Care Act.
Gotcha. Now, is there like a difference between like the coverages and I guess the price as well, between the private insurance versus the insurances that you can get in the marketplace?
Yes and no. So, like I stated, if it's a marketplace plan, it has to cover those 10 areas. So it's like it has to cover ambulatory outpatient, has to cover, maternity, pediatrics. So they are mandated to cover those certain 10 areas, right? And I can run through those if you need me to. If it's a non-ACA plan, they don't necessarily have to cover all 10 of those areas, right? Now, as far as price, in the marketplace, they have what's called an eligibility. It's a premium tax credit, also known as a subsidy. So if you fall within a certain income range, you can qualify for a subsidy. So whether or not you qualify depends on your geographic location, your household size, and your income. So for the people who do meet those guidelines, they get a subsidy, which brings the price of the monthly premiums way down. So that's one of the selling points for the marketplace plans. Some people get big discounts on their premiums depending on their income and their household size. With your non-marketplace plans, again, it's a wide variety. It's not like it used to be years ago, where you just have this big chunky plan, for this astronomical amount. I think the insurance carriers have noticed that a lot of people do not need these big, huge, comprehensive plans that are very expensive, and a lot of people can't afford those. So now they offer more, I guess you could say, more customizable plans where you can sort of get a core product, just like you would be purchasing maybe like a cable package. I want these channels, and then I want to add, this and this. It's kind of like that. So those prices vary depending on, what you need. Some people want just to go to the doctor a couple of times a year and get prescription drugs. So that would be one plan. Some people don't mind paying out of pocket for the doctor, but if something major happens and they have to be hospitalized, they want the insurance to kick in for, those major expenses. So they have plans, for that as well. So it's a wide variety and the prices vary. But it's you have a lot more to choose from today than years back.
Gotcha. What if we missed the open enrollment period for the marketplace insurance? Because I believe it just passed actually on what was the 15th yesterday. So
Yeah.
when this goes public, I think this will be published on Friday. So it'll be a couple days later. So what can we do to get insurance even if we pass, even if the marketplace enrollment date gets passed?
Okay, you're right. The marketplace deadline, the open enrollment ended yesterday, or December 15th. So if you missed the open enrollment plan, you will have to wait until open enrollment begins next year. It begins November 1st and it runs through December 15th. So it's like a 45-day window there you have to apply and enroll. Now, there are certain circumstances though. Let's say you missed it this period, but let's say early next year, you're covered under a job or under your spouse, and something happens and you lose that coverage. They consider that a qualifying life event. And so, in cases like that, you could actually apply for a marketplace plan and get enrolled. But it has to be something like a spouse losing coverage, or you got married and you wanted to get coverage for your spouse, or you adopted a child or something like that. It has to be like a major life event. If not, then you have to wait until the open enrollment period for the following year. But aside from the marketplace plans, of course, your non-marketplace plans, a lot of those carriers don't have what we consider open enrollment periods. You can enroll at any time.
Gotcha. Okay. That's what I was hoping that you would say, because I'm like, dang, so you just out back if you didn't catch it between that window. So I was hoping that the private insurance might, pick up the gap there. So I appreciate it.
Yes,
I'm glad that they got
yes,
that option there.
yes.
Absolutely. All right. So why is it important for younger people to get health insurance? Because I know me personally, especially as a young entrepreneur, we're a little reckless. So before I had kids, before I got married, I was just kind of like, hey, I'm gonna wing it. If something happened, I'll go to the emergency room and figure it out later. But why is now with kids and with family, I make sure I'm definitely covered. Why is it important though for a younger person in that situation that I was in that has that mentality? What would you say to that person?
Yeah, I would say you never know what's going to happen. Life is filled with twists and turns, and some of them we can see coming, and some we can't. And I think this year is a good example of that. You just never know. And one thing I say to people who are entrepreneurs, you can't effectively run your business. You can't grind if you are sick, if you are incapacitated, or God forbid, you come down with some critical illness, like a cancer or something like that, you're going to be out for a while. And the last thing you want is to be worrying about how you're going to pay for treatment for something major that's life threatening. And one thing, I will tell you a personal story. A few years back, just randomly, one day I wasn't feeling well. And it was just a weird feeling. I can't really describe it. Sort of like feeling drained. Um, and so it continued, for the day and into the next day. And so, I ended up going to the emergency room, and true story, I ended up in the hospital for 6 days. So yeah, it was pneumonia, and I didn't. It came out of nowhere. I was one of those people who's never sick. It was the weirdest thing. I'm talking about full on oxygen. Yeah, it was crazy. And the scary part of was, the doctor asked me like, "How did you're young, you're healthy, you don't smoke. How did this happen?" And I'm like, I really don't know. But he and the nurse told me, if you had waited, a couple more days, you would have been out of here, because that's how bad, the infection was, in my lungs. It was really bad. So I think about that, because if I had not had insurance, I probably would have waited. I probably would have tried to wait it out, or, tried to, remedy myself at home or something, and it's a scary thought, but sometimes you do need medical care, and sometimes things can happen and it's unexpected. You just never know when something is going to happen and you will need major medical attention. So I would say, if you're in that mindset, definitely don't kick the can down the road too long, because as we've seen this year, a lot of people have had to be, you know, hospitalized, have had to, seek medical care, and it was totally unexpected. So, just think about some of those one-off scenarios where, and that could be detrimental to your business and what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, absolutely. And it might just be my imagination, but I swear I feel like sometimes if you go in there with no insurance, the doctors and the nurses, everybody just treats you different. If you go in there with no coverage at all, so at least if you got that coverage, you feel like you're in good hands a little bit more. At least I do.
Yeah, I mean, you are absolutely right. And I mean, we've seen the news stories recently about, certain groups of people not receiving the best care. And I think it's true. I worked, hospital jobs, front office jobs, and there is a difference when, a person has insurance and when they don't have insurance, because the doctors, they're wondering, okay, how is this going to get paid for? Especially if it's something major. So yeah, if something does happen, and you have to go seek treatment, the last thing you want to be worrying about is, are you going to get subpar treatment because you don't have, insurance? So, all of that, it goes hand in hand. So, like I said, think of it like you would your car. You keep insurance on your car, and sometimes you go years without using it, and a lot of times it's more expensive than your basic, health insurance plan. So, just think about that. Your body is your body. That's the one thing that you can rely on to, drive, your business, and, provide for your family. So you want to treat your body, just like you would some other prized possessions.
Absolutely. All right, Ms. Bridget. Well, this is an entrepreneur channel, so I'm gonna shift it back from that perspective a little bit, and I have to ask you, what would you say to somebody on the sidelines thinking about starting a business, whether it be a cleaning business or whether it be an insurance company or whatever it may be? What could you say to that person to give them that little boost to take that jump?
Yeah, I would say I think it's normal to have, concerns about or some uneasiness about certain things you don't really know too well. But someone said to me, a long time ago, and I don't remember who said it or where the original quote came from, but they said that fear and prosperity cannot reside in the same house. And that stuck with me because if you're afraid to take chances, if you're afraid to put yourself out there, you will never meet your goals. You will never live up to your full potential. So I say put that fear to the side and go for it. If it doesn't work out, you can shift gears and try something else. But the main thing is to try and keep going.
Absolutely. You're gonna always learn regardless anyway. So I agree 100%. So
Exactly.
what do you want your legacy to be once it's all said and done?
Uh, I would I would like to leave a legacy of ownership. Um, I would just like for people to understand that ownership is so important. Ownership of your business, ownership of your time, ownership of your destiny. It's really important, and as we go through the journey of life and you look back, and you think about, man, I could have been further along had I not let, this person or this job, decide for me, so I think it's important to own, your own destiny. So yeah, I would say that's definitely what I would want to leave as a legacy, ownership.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. So how can we follow your journey, Miss Bridget?
Okay, well, you can follow me. I have a Facebook page, of course, Bridget Bailey. If anyone wants additional information about insurance, you can contact me directly via email. My email address is the word yes, yes, the number two, insurance at gmail.com. I also have a business page on Facebook and Instagram. It's Next Phase, and that's NEXTPHASE, Next Phase Financial Services. So definitely, yeah, go visit my page, and definitely stay tuned for. I'm going to be doing some information sessions and also some workshops. So definitely check out Instagram because I will be putting that information on the Instagram page. Probably get that started early 2021.
That's what's up, Miss Bridget. Thank you for that. And also definitely share that information in the group if you feel the need to.
Okay, absolutely. And before I go, I thank you for inviting me, and I must commend you on the work that you've done on your platform and your brand. I have definitely noticed the growth. So big ups to you. You're doing a great job, and you provide inspiration to all of us. So thank you, and keep doing what you're doing.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alexa. Miss Bridget. I appreciate that. And you enjoy the rest of your day. I appreciate you coming on and teaching us and educating us on this topic. Thank you.